Welcome back. You're still watching Daybreak on this 18th day of November 2024. We are having a conversation about what the church leaders have said about the running of affairs of the state and what the response has been from different quarters within government and the political class. Senator Manzo, you wanted to say something just before we took a break.
Yes, you know, there was a question in Parliament in relation to SHA and Chief and in relation to payments to other hospitals through the same process. And last week, Wednesday, is when the minister in charge of health was to come and respond to these questions. Unfortunately, from the report we got as we waited for her, was that she had fallen ill that morning and was unable to attend Parliament. And that has gone a long way to, you know, as part of the desperation in the country and the frustrations by the bishops. These hospitals are owed a lot of money, and if you don't pay them, then they are unable to pay their employees, they are unable to buy medicine, and they are unable to carry on with the process of treating people.
Right.
And you know, this is a time, unfortunately, a lot of diseases have afflicted Kenyans, more of stress and other related illnesses. And therefore, when bishops speak, it is it's not only them, there are quite a number of other churches who have spoken. It is out of getting to the last result, having been frustrated beyond help. And I believe what the Minister of Health should be doing is to constantly update. And the most important thing is to simply pay. If you can afford to pay 104 billion shillings for a system, then it means you can afford to buy medicine. And you know this is coming when the counties have no monies.
But Senator, that 104 billion shillings will be paid progressively starting next year, Feb.
Yeah, but you can see they have budgeted for that. And that particular program is not even working. You know, even when you go to talk to the employees of SHA and Chief, they will tell you how difficult, how much difficulties they are going through to put into place a new system, because you see most of it is electronic. And when you listen to now the CEO who has left and anybody managing this, you listen to the permanent secretary, you listen to the minister. They already having a problem, and even when they brought the regulations and the law to Parliament, they themselves, who are the implementers, had difficulties in explaining what it was.
You know, Senator, I'm just wondering, so what is the solution? Because we have seen stories of success where people have actually gone to hospital, got in treatment, their dues, they have been cleared for treatment, and actually Social Health Authority has gone ahead to pay. But the other situations of people who are still facing challenges, I mean, at a time that you have a mixed bag of fortunes, what is the solution?
Yes, the unsuccessful stories are more. People queuing, you know, for many hours, and they are seriously sick. People need to go through rain or treatment, you know, cleaning up of the kidneys, dialysis, and in the case of accidents, road accidents, and you rush somebody to hospital, you are paid up as a company, families are paid up, you are not treated. In fact, what they have been doing is to call up leaders for help. And there are very many sad stories where somebody has been waiting for treatment, they pass on. Where somebody has been confronted with these delays and failures and they cannot be accessed, and then while they are trying to move to a private hospital or now to a church hospital, on arrival they pass on. And therefore, as much as there are successes, there are more worse stories, and that's why we are saying the government must take this matter very seriously.
All right.
And health is very important. If you are not alive, then there's a very big problem.
Okay.
A big problem has not been solved by the government.
All right. Mheshimiwa Omoshomba, you wanted to add something to...
Yes, Sam, I wanted to just pick on what my sister Gladys had spoken regarding Bishop's statement and the brief she's given us that the Bishop had engaged the President on the same, and they were promised that payments are going to be done. Now that the bishops are speaking, and they had already discussed with the President on how they are going to be paid or their bills are going to be taken care of. Why are they annoyed and why are they going to the press? Why are they calling a statement? Why are they signing a statement? Does it mean that there is some break of communication between themselves and the Presidency? Or does it mean that whatever they were promised was not fulfilled? And I think my sister Gladys would have told us here, other than just rebuking the bishops, although she said she's not rebuked them, I thought it was easier for her as a senior member of Parliament, you know, somebody who speaks and looks like speaks for the government, to tell us, why are these bishops complaining? Could there be maybe some pending bills that have taken quite some time?
There are pending bills.
And could they be getting frustrated?
Right.
And if they are getting frustrated, what is the best way? How is what strategy should we adopt so that this annoyance, this anger, does not continue building? Because I can obviously see the bishop's tone was not a good tone.
Right.
They looked like they were frustrated. You know, using words like lies, you know, they said lies. They used, you know, they used words that, to me, indicated that there was a little bit of anger. Some I visited hospitals when I got a lot of distress calls from my voters in Githunguri. I decided to just go to the hospitals and get to see what's going on. And I was referred to one hospital here in Nairobi by my voter who was stranded in that hospital. So I went to that hospital and I went to other 4 hospitals. I went to a government hospital, a referral hospital. I went to a dispensary. I went to a mission hospital level 4. And I can tell you there is a big, big problem. I want to use an example of the mission hospital that I visited. The mission hospital that I visited told me they are owed 233 million by NHIF. They have had very serious negotiations with NHIF on how that debt is going to be paid. They were promised they will be paid 2 million every month, but they only receives 230,000 every month. From the 2 million promise to 230,000. So they were asking me, if we are receiving 230,000 per month, and we are told that we are going to be receiving 2 million, and we are owed 233 million, how long?
How many years?
How many years are we going to wait for NHIF debt to be paid before we actually get on track on the new SHA system? And now they are telling me the problem they have now is that before they treat any patient or attend to any patient, they must get something they are calling pre-authorization. The communication between the hospital and the SHA system, the SHIF system, for them to be allowed to, or rather, let me use the word they're using, the technical word, for them to get the authorization, it is taking them approximately 3 hours for one patient. So the queues that I found...
For the procedures or even...
I went to the dialysis center.
Okay.
I did not go to any other, but I went to dialysis. Because that's where the biggest problem was. And they were telling me that kind of delay of getting 2 hours, 3 hours to get one patient pre-authorized, and the system keeps on dropping. I was actually there at the system. I sat there. I even have my videos here. I sat there and I checked how the communication was going. The delays and the system kept on, you know, dropping. It will drop for about 30 minutes. It will come back. It will clear one person and then drops again. It's just a mess.
All right.
And that is why most patients are getting so frustrated with those kind of delays. But the ones that finally get cleared, they are getting their dialysis services very well.
All right.
Now, the other issue that I noted, Sam, and it's good to be honest with ourselves, most of the patients who are rushing to hospitals and then they are taken through that slow process, they are yet to be done what we call the populations means evaluation. So before you go to the hospital, you want to be treated, you're told, oh, what's your name? My name is Gathoni Wamushomba, and then they try and key in the system, and then your name is not in the system. Then you're told, you know what? We need first of all to know you well. We need to know how much you'll be paying for SHIF. So before they evaluate you and get to know who you are, how much you earn, where you live, so that they can evaluate you and tell you you'll be paying 500 shillings per month or 9,000 per month, that other process is creating a lot of delays.
Okay.
So I was wondering, this is my concern as a member of parliament. Yes, we passed the laws. Yes, this system, if well done, seamlessly, it's a good system. If it is well organized, it's an effective system. But why couldn't we first wait to do our population's means of evaluation to everybody in Kenya? We have your database, we know how much you'll be paying, we know everything about you. We make sure that the system has accommodated all of us.
You feel like we went to the market too early?
We went to the market too early. We launched this project with a lot of hurry, and then now this you can't do what we call population means evaluation live. Live means when the system is already running. That's when you are evaluating people.
Somebody's sick.
Yeah,
I hear you.
I am coming to for an emergency in a hospital.
Yeah.
Before you take care of my emergency, you are asking me about my evaluation. It's not my business as a Kenyan. Somebody should have done it a long time ago.
All right. It's just important to note here, just hold on, Deputy Speaker, that based on the law that Parliament passed, including yourselves here, the transition period must be by 21st of November, which is in the next 3 days, by which time that the law requires the country to transition from NHIF to the Social Health Authority. This was started on the 1st of October, and the Cabinet Secretary for Health, after the statement to the Bishop, said, excuse me, that the ministry remains committed to providing transparent, accessible, and affordable healthcare for all. The government commends all Kenyans who have registered with the Social Health Authority and healthcare providers, including public, private, and faith-based organizations. The government further calls on all stakeholders, including the Catholic Church, to support the rollout of the Social Health Authority. Also said that the government, through the SHA, will disburse remaining 2.5 billion shillings by next week, which is this week, and is committed to progressively clearing all unpaid NHIF claims. Additionally, the SHA is currently reconciling new claims submitted by providers in October and November 2024 under the SHIF, and the ministry assures all providers that these claims will be paid on time. That's what the ministry has said. I don't know if you, Deputy Speaker, you had something to add, because I want us to transition to something else that the President said.
Yes, let me speak honestly about this. Yeah. And I'm speaking as an authority.
Right.
I am known since 2018. I have been having medical camps in Uasin Gishu County using various hospitals, faith-based hospitals, public hospitals, private hospitals. So I know this very well. Even Bishop Kimengich himself knows that a few months ago, I had a medical camp at St. Bridget's Hospital in Kapseret, constituency in Uasin Gishu County. Yep. I donated drugs and equipment for the theater to the hospital. I brought in doctors from the United States who came and undertook operations and surgical procedures on many of the patients. So yes, I interact with the hospitals. I understand their problems with more precision than most people. Right. I have been many times spoken, when I went to the hospital, they always tell me, you know, we are owed money by NHIF, when NHIF was on. I would call NHIF. I personally have 3,000 people in Uasin Gishu who are on NHIF paid by me. So every time there is a crisis, when any of them goes to hospital, when they go to hospital, each time they sometimes they will say, oh, I couldn't get the procedure and so on, and I would normally call NHIF. So I'm in constant talks with NHIF on this issue. So even when we look at, and I've evaluated this new the social health insurance. And yes, I've picked out some things that are good about it. For example, one of the things with SHIF now, all expensive procedures will be covered by SHIF. Something that, but with NHIF, there was a cap. And then before, procedures to be approved, because I've been making the calls to get approvals for patients that are on my NHIF list, I used to call, it used to take almost a week to get approvals. Now it takes 2 hours. The maternity package is very competitive also. It was 2,500 per delivery. Now it is 10,000 per delivery. That's and irrespective of the hospital.
Normal delivery, right?
Yes, and then 30,000 for cesarean section. And before it was 12,000. And then, of course, we've seen some things that are not right with SHIF. For example, the capitation of 900 shillings per family is not enough even for one hospital visit. So it's very good for expensive procedures, but it's not competitive for walk-in outpatient issues.
Right.
There's another challenge that I noticed. Girls who are under 18, when they and you see many under 18s are having children, they go to hospital, it's not covered. And they are usually the ones who need a C-section because their bodies are not grown enough. And the problem is, SHIF does not cover that. And it's one of the issues I have raised.
Okay.
I have gone to their offices and said, these are the challenges.
Okay.
And this, in fact, this list was made by the doctor who's in charge of my medical camps. For me, these notes were given to me when I went to CNHIF. And I said, there's also other challenges. For example, a person is required to choose their primary clinic.
Medical facility.
Yes. But unfortunately, for people like truck drivers, suppose you fall sick in Malaba, and yet your primary hospital is in Mombasa. So I'm not saying that there aren't challenges with SHIF. There are some challenges.
Okay.
But when you start a system, believe me, the system will have some challenges. And that is why you must roll it out. Then you begin to pick out the challenges and then begin to proceed to correct them. And I always remember very wise advice from Chief Justice Chunga then, was the chairperson of the Kenya Law Reports. When I started the online system, putting all the laws of Kenya online, putting all the Kenya Gazette online, and putting all the judgments online, I remember I told him the system is not ready. And he told me, Gladys, you know what? Let's jump into the deep end. Let's do it. And we correct it as we go forward. Today, we won various awards. That's what I'm saying.
Unfortunately, Deputy Speaker, those are laws, those are gazettements, these are people's lives.
Yes. No, and then also I have a letter here that was written by the CEO of SHIF to all the hospitals. And what they told the hospitals, the letter clearly says, do not send anyone away. You must immediately give them help and then come back and to us. And in fact, they were clearly told, so if there's any hospital who is turning away patients, I want to announce to Kenyans that you must report that hospital. And nowadays, thank God for social media. Just put it and say, I was at this hospital, they denied me because they have a letter. And I'm going to give you the letter because I would like you to read it out to the public.
Okay. It was the sacked CEO.
Please do it.
Yes.
The letter is from the sacked CEO.
He's been sent on compass relief, not sacking.
No, but it doesn't matter. At the time, he was actually in office, and that letter is valid to today.
All right.
And I know that when people have told me, I say, no, I have the letter. I normally send people, I say, no, show them this letter. They were told, do not send anyone away. You must give the service. Patients must be treated. If there's anything wrong with the system, we can correct it after, but no one should be sent away.
That's good.
Any patients who has any hospital that's sending people away is actually acting illegally.
Deputy Speaker, let's just get a few things clear here, because the management of the Social Health Authority, but also the Ministry of Health, have been saying that once you register under the Social Health Authority, you're qualified to get services for primary health care, which is financed by the government in terms of budgetary allocations. Never mind that so far only 4 billion shillings is in the budget versus a target of 50 billion shillings. But for SHIF, the Social Health Insurance Fund, you have to at least make a payment for at least 1 month for you to get services. That's what they have been saying. But you say something interesting, that you support 3,000 people in your county with NHIF contributions. I'm just wondering, how much is that?
That we pay about 6 million shillings a year.
6 million shillings a year?
Yeah. And thanks to Alten, who contributed part of it.
So 6 million divided by 3,000, that comes to about, how much is that? 2,000 shillings a year. Is that possible? Because I thought the minimum is 500 shillings per month.
It's 500 shillings. But remember, when you pay per household. And a household has an average of 5
So people. Beneficiaries are 3,000,
yes,
but...
beneficiaries are 3,000, yes.
How do you do that? From what money?
I fundraise. And the last contribution was given to me by Alten Solar Farm Limited, which is based in Wasingishu. So
now what happens now that we're under a new system, the Social Health Authority?
No, they transited. In fact, somebody from my foundation went to sit with the people at the SHIF to be able to transit. So they transited.
But I thought that's not the plan. The plan is that a household pays what they're able to pay. If they are not able to pay,
I'm saying
the government should.
This payment I made under NHIF. So what we did, because one of the things that we were concerned about, what's going to happen to the people, because we already paid in advance. So what happened is they just asked that somebody from my office goes and sits with them, because it's paid under Gladys Bose Foundation. And what they did is they went and transited all our beneficiaries to SHIF. So they didn't lose their money.
That's what I'm saying. Once it expires for the current period, so how will the contributions be done? Will you still fundraise, or are you going to subject them to the allocation by the National Assembly?
What we'll do now is relook at what is it that is required, the payment now. So we'll reassess it. But whatever we had paid was completely transited. So we didn't lose any money, because I know even people were very concerned about it. Okay, all right. Yeah.
Let's listen to what the president said, because he went to a Catholic church, the Soweto Catholic Church in Embakasi East, in keeping with the promise that he had made the day before. Listen to this.
So, hiyo nyumba ya father pale wa Naisanda, sawa. Utakuja kuniona Monday ama Tuesday. Takutafutia shilingi milioni 5.
All right. The deputy president also was somewhere in Kirinyaga County and made this pledge.
Kwa hivyo sisi ile tuko nayo ni kutoa nini? Sadaka. Wengine wametoa, na hata mimi nikubaliwe nitoe nini? Ya kujenga headquarters. Mambo ya Harambee tungojee sheria ile itatengenezwa ya kutusaidia. Sisi kama tumeelewana. Nawashukuru wote ambao wametoa sadaka. Mimi nimetumwa na sadaka ya rais ya shilingi milioni 5. Na watu wa press, vile tumesikizana, sadaka ndio tunatoa. Mambo ya Harambee, we are waiting for the law. Na mimi niko na sadaka pia, hata kama nilikuwa nimebeba sadaka ya mkubwa wangu, na mimi nasindikisha hiyo sadaka na sadaka yangu binafsi ya shilingi milioni 2.
All right, so on that good Sunday, the president's gift was worth 10 million shillings, DP Kindiki 2 million shillings. What is this, and how does this affect the relationship between the state and the church, Mheshimiwa Mushomba?
You know, I keep saying we have migrated from leadership, political leadership, to tokenism. And that is the reason why you see us, members of parliament, senators, behaving the way we are behaving. Because the government, the current government, has just decided that political favoritism is the order of the day. And now we are all going to be waiting for the president to come to your constituency for a church service, for you to get a token that you should ideally get through parliamentary budget process. And it is very sad. It is actually a fallacy for a president to stand on the rooftop of his vehicle and look like he was laughing at the people of Soweto because of their road, telling them that your road looks like as difficult as that one of going to heaven. I mean, how can a whole president talk like that? And he's the CEO. He's the one who is supposed to be actually reprimanding the county government and his government on why this road looks like this. And the money he gave in church, for heaven's sake, it's good to give in church. But I think we are also overdoing. I mean, when you give to one church 5 million shillings, yet there is a small village in Githunguri where we cannot even deliver our milk to the collection center. And we only need that 5 million shillings to do that small road. I mean, something is not right. And I think for me, I feel like we are using our political position to attract following and to subdue other leaders so that we can follow some leaders for tokens and favors. And to me, it's completely out of order.
Okay.
I also want to comment on something that Mheshimiwa Gladys talked about and said that any health facility in this country...
So can you hold on that a bit? I'll give you the opportunity to talk about that.
I needed to clear the air.
I will.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, I want to go biblical.
Yeah.
You know, Cain made a sacrifice. Mm-hmm. And you know what God requires from us is first tithe and a sacrifice. Now, when you make tithe, which is 10%, it is out of what you have earned. And when you make sacrifice, it is also out of what you have earned. Mm-hmm. Now, I will presume that the monies the president and the deputy are giving is part of the State House budget. It could not be, it may be what they earn, but it may also be part of State House budget. What's supposed to be used?
There's a State House budget for churches?
No. Their own...
For Sadaka?
Yeah, not for Sadaka, but what has been budgeted for the office of the president. And that money, if it is not used for purposes of developing and working for the nation, it should be taken back for rebudgeting and should be used in other useful areas in the country. The moment you take stolen money to a church, to a sanctuary, you are actually attracting curses to yourself. And the Bible says you will end up in confusion.
Are you insinuating that money is stolen?
What else could it be? If it was budgeted for purposes of State House, if it is not used for that purpose, it should be taken back to Treasury and rebudgeted for hospitals, for roads, and such things, because it is state money. Only personal money, and what is your sacrifice is what you give to a church. Any other monies you give to that church, then it is stolen money. Mm-hmm. And therefore, your sacrifice will not be different from the one of Cain. And it will not please God. And you know what follows if you make that. So I will really encourage leaders. Stolen monies should not be given for God's purposes. God is not poor. God is the owner of everything. And God wants to see your clean heart in your sacrifices and in your tithing. And therefore, you must explain where you have gotten this money to go and give us tokens in churches and even to conduct an Arambi. What they did was actually to conduct an Arambi, yet they have stopped us from doing Arambis for churches.
Professor Kindiki says that is not Arambi, it's Sadaka.
But he knows his lie. He knows it means the other. I thank God, you know, Professor Kindiki, just like myself, we are children of the clergy. He must know better what it is. So I think politicians should know very carefully that the sanctuary is never played with, God is never mocked, and we should be truthful. We should not use the state money, you know, to enhance ourselves unfairly against others and to play around with the sanctuary.
All right. Now, at the Embu event, at the ordination of Bishop Peter Kimani, part of the sermon by the Apostolic Nuncio was about the brown envelope. One person noted it and spoke about it, former President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Nikimalizia kwa sababu ya mvua, ningependa kwa heshima kubwa sana nikuombe my Lord Bishop nikuletee zawadi yangu saa hii, kwa sababu mimi Mheshimiwa Rais akimaliza kuongea mimi nitatoroka. Mambo ya speed hii na makelele siwezi siku hizi, inanipatia headache. Kwa hivyo mimi ningependa tumalizane mapema ndio mimi nitoke pole. Sini namna hiyo? Sini namna hiyo? Na Nuncio, mi bahasha yangu ni ya white, sio ya brown ile ulikuwa unasema. Yangu haina mambo mingi, ni zawadi kidogo tu ya rafiki, si ndio?
All right. So, Deputy Speaker, what are we dealing with here? That you have gifts being given in church and given different names. The president is telling the priest kuja nione State House. Deputy President is anapeana 5 million from the president and calls it Sadaka. I thought Sadaka is actually an offering, which is in secret. You don't announce it. You know,
you're now trying to tell me to start interrogating and analyzing people's faith. I think when you give to the church, it is personal. It is between you and your God.
So why announce it?
No, I'm saying how you decide to do it is personal between you and your God. So it is not for me to start saying, I think we should do it this way or do it that way. I think that is...
I'm not asking you...
Because there are no rules.
I'm not asking you at a personal level. I'm asking you as a member who sits in the National Assembly to oversee the executive. These are the leaders of the executive that have said, including the president himself, that fundraising is banned. And that is why Professor Kindiki is actually quoting the president. But then you give in church and you announce it. What is the source of that money?
I think you seem to have some thoughts about it. Why don't you explain to us what your thoughts are? Because
no.
You're trying to make me say what you want to hear.
If you don't have an answer, it's okay to say you don't have an answer.
Yes, I said it's personal.
So that you can make progress.
Tithing is personal, and how someone does it, it's how they decide their relationship with their God is. So it's nothing to do with me.
So it doesn't bother you at all as a member of parliament?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, all right. Now,
because he has clearly said it's not a harambe.
It's not harambe. What is it?
But it amounts to an harambe.
No, but I'm just saying he stated that. So it's not for me to start judging and asking me to. But maybe I think Manzo seems to have some thoughts about it. He can be told. He can, he can analyze it.
What I'm asking is, because, look, we are here, we're talking about the relationship between the church and the state. You do not agree with how
and I have said
the church has responded.
For me, I will not pass judgment on someone's other person's relationship with their God. That is not for me. It's not my space, and I don't decide that is something I should criticize or talk about. I think it's personal. It has nothing to do with me.
All right, and I want us to make progress. Yes, Mheshimiwa Mushomba.
I can see you're forgetting that I needed to clarify something that Honorable Shalai spoke about.
Yeah.
She clearly said that she has a communication from the CEO, Shah, and that communication says that any hospital that repels or disallows members of public from accessing health services is doing that illegally. I just wanted to mention that we are aware that there are county hospitals that are doing so voluntarily because they claim they do not have an agreement between the county government and the implementing authority called SHA. These intergovernmental participatory agreements...
Which hospitals are those?
...are supposed to have signed through their counties. And we understand that there are few counties that have yet to sign that agreement. That is to mean, if the county has not signed, all hospitals in that county are not part of the list of the hospitals that are supposed to be getting pre-authorization from SHA. And that is what the government is not telling Kenyans. So when you come and tell people here that any hospital that is telling you to go away is doing that illegally, yet there are counties that their governors have not yet signed this agreement, then I think the government is putting Kenyan citizenry in a circus of misinformation.
Yeah. So I think
so why we should be asking ourselves.
We should give the names to Senator Manzo. Senator Manzo sits in Senate. He can summon those county governments.
We summon the ministers.
For me, I want a solution.
Hold on. Before you summon, I think we should be able to be honest. We should come out honestly and tell Kenyans, why are those governors not willing to sign? What are the issues? Because there are issues. Have we overlapped devolution? Are we somehow interfering with the processes of devolution to the extent that some governors are not comfortable with the handing over of the health function to SHA? Are we eating into their spaces? You know, this rushing of this transition has a lot of gaps.
Yes.
And we need to be honest with ourselves.
And you see
we cannot
Mushomba, where you and me sit, we are leaders. We were elected to do a job. And if there is challenges like that, because what has been happening, every time I get, I'm told that there is such and such a hospital that refused to admit people, I immediately deal with it. If there are governors who have not signed, that is the job of Senate. Because the governors are not in a position to say that we don't. When they had NHIF, they didn't complain. Now they have the similar thing but improved, and it's supposed to serve Kenyans better. How can it be in their power to decide that they are not signing? It is not their place to do that. And that is something. If that is happening, I would like you, Mheshimiwa Mushomba, give us the list of those names. I will personally write to Senate and ask Senate that you should summon those governors and say this is something wrong. You as a leader, can write to the Council of Governors write to Governor Waiguru. She will and take action about it. That's what I'm saying. I refuse to be part of the people who come and sit on public television and cry and complain. Usually, I deal with it head on immediately.
Right.
So let's have that list. I'm happy to help you.
No. I think we just need to be honest with ourselves. Do you want to tell us here, Gladys, because you're saying that you are going to write, you want to tell me by the time the CEO of SHA sent you that letter you're reading for us on your phone, the CEO did not tell you that the biggest problem you're having is the migration from the county's health function to SHA? Because that's the biggest problem. And you're not telling each other the truth.
What we know is when they...
So they throw to you a letter like that and they want you to come to the national TV and say it is illegal for any hospital to turn off patients.
Yes.
And you look like you're not being realistic to the ground as a politician. Because your work is to make sure that your voters, my voters, access health facility everywhere they visit. So I think there's a problem. Because before they write a letter and say any hospital that is doing 1, 2, 3 is doing this illegally, they should have cleared their back office. And their back office is crowded with a lot of uncertainty, a lot of unclear information. And that is why there's all this. And I said it from the word go. If these SHA shift systems are working efficiently, let me tell you, this is the best project the Kenya Kwanza government will have given as a gift to the people of Kenya. Okay. Because it's a wonderful system, if it works well. But kuna kujifichania, unaona? We are hiding each other. It's like we are playing games. We are playing games. I think we are playing games so that we don't lose our functions at the county level. We don't lose the revenues we've been earning at the management.
And it is for us to resolve that issue.
And it is all
our job
problem.
as leaders to resolve it.
We are playing games.
Well, both of you are right. You're highlighting the problem. She's saying that you need to bring forth the solution.
Yes, because for me, if I'm told about a certain hospital, I call them immediately. Right. I had a young girl, Zedi, who needed to have a kidney transplant. I went to Moi Teaching Referral Hospital in Wasingishu. Yep. And the CEO told me, no, don't worry. Under SHIF, she will be able to have the transplant at no cost. Okay. You know, so you did. That's why we are leaders. That's why we were elected. Our job is, the moment a problem is flagged out, as a leader, you must resolve it. Okay. Whether it's by calling the hospital, whether it's by finding out, and that's how I got a copy of the letter on my WhatsApp, that has been sent to all hospitals. Good. The letters have been sent to all hospitals. And it is us to call out those hospitals. And whenever a patient is in hospital, the doctors take their Hippocratic oath or whatever it's called, the first thing they must do, if there is an emergency, they are not supposed to ask questions or even ask for money. Well, even today, if there's an emergency and you rush to Nairobi Hospital, they're not supposed to ask you for money, they're supposed to treat you first. So what we need to do is to help the system work by calling out those hospitals who are defying the law, who are defying directives from their bosses, and who are not being honest.
Clearly, there's work to be done.
Because that is how, that's what I'm saying, it is our job to make it work. It is not our job to complain that it's not working.
So if we don't complain and we are the voice of the people, if we don't come here and tell people the voice of the people, who is